Somebody said one time, I just can't believe that I can't wrap my brain around this, that were it not for a jingle or an introduction on a TV or radio show, they don't even listen to music all day long. What they're missing out on. We're going to talk about my journey, because I'm familiar with my journey in music, and it started in Cincinnati, Ohio. I was born and raised in Cincinnati. I was born at Christ Hospital, downtown Cincinnati, in the year that shall remain a mystery. But then I was reared there until I was 12 years old, and Dad moved us back to his home. His home county of Madison County, Kentucky. But I was raised listening to WSAI AM radio every morning of my life. And right now, I could tell you the DJ's name, and his name fails me, but it's going to hit me, and as soon as it does, I'll say it, because he just every day. That's what Mother had on the radio as we would prepare our school day. And of course, what did we hear on that radio all the time was the Beatles. Are you kidding me? I remember, I'm sure there were other bands, but talk about marketing. I couldn't tell you who they were at the time. I couldn't tell you what they sang at the time, but the Beatles were on all the time on that AM radio as we prepared our day. As I mentioned on the last podcast, my grandparents lived on the same block as we did, and I had the benefit of Tom and Ida Lunsford, my mom's parents, on the right side of us as you walk out the front door, and my dad's mom and dad, Granny and Granddaddy Tussey, on the left. And both Tom and Ida Lunsford, they were musicians and actually had their own radio show on WLW in Cincinnati in the 30s, believe it or not, a live radio show. And he was influential in me. He played guitar and sang. As a matter of fact, I didn't do it. See, I miss a producer today. I'm drinking cold coffee. Didn't get enough coffee in here, and I've got nobody to get my coffee. But that's okay. Good morning, Don. Thanks for chiming in. I read earlier that morning people, they make more money, they're more energetic, they got higher energy, they get more done because they're morning people. So I'm looking at a whole slew of morning people that we're movers and shakers. We're going to get it done. All right. We're talking about music and the importance of it in my life, and maybe it become contagious in your life. And so in doing so, we're talking about musician friends who play, and what do they play, and what path did they take. Before we get into that, or very much of that, I want to tell you about the path I took. At 7 years old, my parents bought me a guitar, and it was a small guitar, nylon string guitar, and I didn't know how to play it, but my grandpa did, my mother's father, and he would come down. He came down. I remember the first time I ever really heard what a guitar and a vocal should sound like, when Grandpa sat there and he played that guitar and he sang Old Shep, and we're going to explore that song someday. It's one of the saddest songs you'll ever hear in your life, but it marked me as a kid, and it was a sad song, but that's what he wanted to sing. And I remember the first thing that my response mentally to hearing Grandpa do that, my response in my mind, I didn't say it, I was just a kid, my response was, that doesn't sound like the Beatles. And it wasn't that I didn't really appreciate it. As a kid, that's what I thought. That didn't sound like the Beatles. But I now have an appreciation for what it did sound like, because Grandpa was old school, and he knew blues, and he knew country blues, and he was raised in a family that enjoyed and appreciated music and making real music. One time somebody came to our house, and this is later in life, this was only maybe 20 years, 15 years ago. And I had the guitar out, had the amplifier out, and they said, would you play something for me? And so I did, and no big deal, just played a little bit there, and then sat it down, and they were so amazed and impressed, not at the talent, that's not what I'm going to say, I don't have that kind of ego, but they were so impressed because they went on and said, you know what, I have never in my life heard live music. let me tell you, the experience of live music, I'm going to go off task here a little bit because I'm telling you about my journey. There was one time in Bay City, Michigan, the first time I really heard blues music, and it was Larry McRae, and he was playing in just a little theater downtown in Bay City, Michigan. At the time, I didn't have any money. I had one guitar, and I don't even own it now. It was a Gretsch hollow body, really nice guitar. I don't even own it now. I sold it. But we were about 8 rows back, sat down and listened to Larry play, and I'll never forget it. It was the first time that I not only heard music, but I felt it. And it wasn't just because, physically, boom, boom, boom. My chest cavity would thump with the bass. It was amazing. I'm talking about live experiences with music you don't get off a CD, you don't get off radio, you don't get off television. And what is it? Have you ever seen so many people that will go and enjoy a quote live music experience and they never put their phone down? They just got to continue to record it, only to never ever play it back again. But the majority of people. But there's even at that, they are missing taking in what the experience is all about. So at 7 years old, I got a guitar, and I remember the first albums I got, and this was 3 years later, but I started discovering records, and they were full of guitar. And the first single record I bought, but I'm sure Dad bought it, but it was one I picked out. First single record I bought was I Hear You Knocking, But You Can't Come In. We bought several singles. This is when you could buy a single for 15 cents. Man, I hate telling you that, because I'm giving my age away. But we would buy these 45s, and I Hear You, But You Can't Come In. After Midnight by Eric Clapton, bought that one. My Sweet Lord by the Beatles. George Harrison wrote that. We got that one, and we would spin those things until about wore them out again. And I've still got them somewhere, and I'm going to show them to you. Probably bring my turntable in, play a little taste of that. But then the first album I bought, and I was 11 years old, and again, I believe I did pay for this one with my own money, but honestly, I doubt it. I did have some money at that age because I worked, but first album I ever bought was David Gates and Bread, and I forget the name of the album, and it had a white cover, but that's where I learned this. That's where I first heard the song Guitar Man. And that song, these little things begin to mark me. Have you ever heard the lyrics to Guitar Man? Oh, are you kidding me? And then on the same album, I found her diary beneath a tree. And this guy's reading the diary. He's singing about it, playing guitar. He's reading the diary. I found her diary beneath the tree. And every word just set him on fire about her love for he thinks it's for him. But then at the very end of the diary, he realizes, she wasn't even writing about me. She was writing about someone else. And all this with a guitar. It's amazing what you can communicate with an instrument and a little bit of a beat and a melody and words that are right. Powerful thing. And I've been privileged to write a few songs, and I'm always writing. Some of them have been healthy enough songs that we can use them out and play them out, and just something about that. I want to encourage you as a local musician. I want to encourage you as I play at my house musician and don't get out much. If you can take a chord, a rhythm, and a lyric and hold somebody's attention for 3 minutes, you're a success. That's the power of music. Don't beat yourself up. You know what I've learned? Don't beat yourself up as a musician, always looking for perfection. You know what I tell my students? And I teach guitar, bass, I teach piano and keyboard. And I told you I'm going to teach you to play piano, and you won't even have to be in the room with a piano. And I'm going to teach you that on this podcast. Teach you how to play piano by talking you through it. But the effect that music has, I want to encourage you to continue on the path, because listen, I tell my students this: play through the mistakes. 80% of your music life is rehearsal, not performance. You've got to do it for fun. You got to do it because you love it. I've heard people say to me, well, do you think I could learn piano? Well, I think I'd like to. And then I've got people who they've come and they've started guitar lessons and then asked me if I could can I move my schedule to a more convenient time because I've got this and that to do with that. And I only teach on Saturday morning. Then I've got people who, well, can I borrow a guitar? I want to learn guitar, but I want to borrow one. No, you got to invest in this a little bit. And you've got to decide that I don't mind if my fingers hurt for a while until I get this. And I will set time aside and I will get this. And because you know what? You will get it and you will do it you'll do it for fun and pleasure and enjoyment. And I don't care how professional you are, when you stop having fun, something went amiss. Talk about a medium to spread happiness, because on Real Gary Tussey podcast, we are about living life and letting live, living and letting live, being free and setting other people's free, and the high pursuit of happiness. A fast track to high pursuit of happiness is music. You know, if you don't want to play an instrument that makes melody, there's rhythm instruments, there's clapping the hands, there's singing. You can get involved somewhere doing these things. I want to continue. I got some really good stories of my childhood and my adventures in music as a child coming up. And next time we'll talk a little bit more about that probably. And we got Facebook friends with us. We got the Real Cam 4-in-1 with us. And we appreciate everybody being with us. Till next time, life, live it and share it. Be free and set other people free, and with high energy pursue happiness.